Hey guys, John Loxley here, back with our blind playthrough of Orwell. So what I want to talk about this time for the, since it's Orwell, I want to do like a little theme every episode of something to be aware of. Get him on a little soapbox for just a minute. So this time I want to talk about the First Amendment, specifically the freedom of the press. Now, it's been a while since I've read the Bill of Rights, or the First Amendment specifically, where it talks about the freedom of the press. But, the general understanding that I think we all have is that the press is important. If the public is going to be able to make decisions by voting that affect the course of the nation, then ultimately they need to be informed. And so freedom of the press is not really talked about much when it comes to free speech, but I think it's also super important, especially when you talk about purchasing the press, right? So that's kind of the big thing. Like, what do you do when the mode for your speech is owned? I don't know. All of the media now is essentially a corporate mouthpiece, and gone are the days when you have like the hard-hitting journalism, the journalism that looks at corruption and wants to shine a spotlight on it. Strangely enough, I think it's some of the more controversial YouTube channels that actually perform that function now. I'm not going to get into that, but I did want to touch on, so I think in the last episode I mentioned that Microsoft was part of PRISM, in which the NSA spies on the citizens and collects data on it, on us. For what purpose? I don't know. In case we step out of line, maybe. No one knows what they're going to use that information for. Or maybe they're not going to use anything now, but 10, 20 years down the line, they have this information, it doesn't go away. Then what? They could still use it against us. But Microsoft owns, is it NBC? So did NBC talk about the PRISM program at all? Did anyone really talk about it? I know most people don't care. And that's, the indifference they touched on in this. They touched on in Orwell a little bit, the indifference of the masses. But ultimately, I think, it's something that we need to discuss, or that needs to be brought up. Like, how can your press be free if it's owned? So that's the question that I wanted to raise for today. Unfortunately, I don't have answers. I wish I did. But let's get into this. So last time we finished day 3. So I don't know if it'll start us at the little prompt of like go on to the next day, or if it'll just start us right at day 4. Definitely drinking coffee. I was sitting down a little bit earlier and I realized I fell asleep in my chair, which is not so great. Oh, okay. We start right here. Okay, yeah, Goldfells. So now I'm a little curious of where this game is gonna go. So every time I quit, I don't. Maybe I'll show that this episode, but I get like basically an ad for the next Orwell game, which I'm fine with, actually. That's something I'm I'm kind of interested in. I want to see where this goes, but where will it go in this game? I think there's supposed to be 5 chapters, and we're going on to chapter 4 or 5 days, whatever. Episode 4, Memory Hole. Oh, back again, Well, yes. Also, Orwell ID. Interesting, right? So here's something I hadn't thought of until just now. I assume the Orwell people are tracked also. That would be pretty convenient for you to become... like you're the one that performs the function and then they just get rid of you. And by get rid of, I don't mean fire, I mean like kill. Or imprison. You know, crimes against the people. I mean, that's the problem with systems like these is... it's like having a traitor in charge. You know, the traitor betrays the people that are supposed to trust him the most, and then you just can't trust them. I still can't believe what happened yesterday. We got the perpetrator of the bombings, everything looks that way, but at what cost? Was she the perpetrator? I don't know. I'm not certain. And that's actually one of the reasons this game is so great, is because you don't know. You know, the game itself doesn't come out and tell you. It's not like, oh yeah, this was the person. It's like, are you doing the right thing? Are you doing the wrong thing? I think that's really great. I mean, did we do the right thing? Flagging Miss Matronova as dangerous? Did we kill her in the end? That I can't answer. I wish you could talk to me at least this one time. Speaking into this one-way channel feels like barking at a wall endlessly. Yeah. I kind of understand that. In a way, that's how the YouTube thing feels. But, you know, I mean, I see your guys' comments. I know it's not like screaming into the void. Someone sees this stuff. I just hope it resonates with people. That's all I want. Worst of all, as he found out, Abraham Goldfell seems to have incited and planned the assaults. We need to get him today. There must be some lead on him we have overlooked. We'll keep observing all others in case we learn something new. Arrest records. Oh. Okay. Listener. Arrest records, Matronova Nina, arrest date, multiple homicide. Oh, well, okay. See, redacted and redacted, that doesn't make any sense. Because she was killed, it should be not applicable or something, but maybe this is the same depending on, you know, the same regardless of what outcome. When prompted to surrender, the suspect instead shouted out aggressively while producing a firearm, aiming at one of the executing special agents. The suspect then opened fire, wounding Special Agent Blank on the left shoulder. In defense, Special Agent, well, I'll just say redacted, drew his pistol and returned fire, as the situation briefing had already suggested to proceed with extreme caution. Suspect was hit in the chest twice, causing her to collapse, and the ambulance was called, but the paramedics were unable to resuscitate the target. Time of death was announced at the scene. That's actually not how this should have gone. Because she was expecting the hacker. Right, but you have a couple dudes that look like FBI agents wearing the suits and all that. Or heck, even military. You know, at that point you're just like, whoa, hang on, what is going on? You know, it's not a hacker at this point. But yeah, I mean, you know, you You shoot to kill, you don't shoot to wound. So, there you go. Headlines, Harrison time. So we have a few things that we're gonna have to re-review for Goldfells to find him. Juliet is calling Harrison. Yeah, O'Donnell speaking. Harrison, this is Juliet. Isn't this your office number? You working on Sunday? Look, as much as I appreciate that, I am once again so important to you, I'm a bit in between things. Harrison, Nina is dead. Quit bullshitting me. Not funny. Take a look at TMB if you don't believe me. What? She's been associated with the Boonton bombings. I can't believe it. Nina, you stupid piece of... Why in all hell? There's more. I spoke to her yesterday. She called me. I've never heard her so scared. Said she was being tracked by someone and needed to skip town. She just wanted to let me know what was going on in case anything happened to her. Then she packed a few things and went on her way. She did message me about someone tracking her as well. Thought it was this hacker who screwed with our page. What did she tell you? She suspected someone to be wiretapping her calls. She wasn't exactly willing to talk about it. I don't know for sure, but I think it could have been the police. Oh, this is fucking brilliant. How long until they discover the connection to us, huh? They might be listening to this very call as we fucking speak about Nina. Why would they? We didn't do anything, or did you? So, just to... this is assuming that wiretapping laws are in effect. At this point, they're not. I mean, for us. Like, in real life. They are listening to every phone call. They're storing every text. I mean, it's known. So... yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it. You can't be like, maybe they're listening to us right now. It's like they're listening to everybody all the time. So, no, damn it, it's becoming blatantly obvious that those government assholes are trying to set us up. The bombs were exactly where we held our protests, then those letters with the song Abe obsessed about. And now you tell me you've been in contact with Nina just yesterday? Pretty much the proof they've been waiting for. We're cooked. Huh, you really believe the government has it in for us? I thought you and the Gov were best friends forever now after reading your opinion pieces. For what reason would they be after us? Why now? What did we do? Speak up against them one too many times? The fuck do I know? We should seek help just in case. Help? Who's gonna help us? Joseph Langley might be worth a shot. Who? Cassandra's lawyer, don't you remember? A frickin' lawyer? What do you want him to do? Bust law enforcement? The government? He understands our situation. Abe also knew Joseph. I talked to him recently. Bah, really, Jules? They make the laws, they break the laws. We will need to speak in a language they understand, not in one they own. So I take it you've got a much better plan, huh? We need to get the people on our side. Turn things around. Abraham knew that. Yeah, you're right. He did know that. So now you're set on miraculously achieving something that Thought spent 1.5 years attempting? This is not about Thought. This is me defending myself. Well then, what's your defense plan? There's this guy. A guy. Uh-huh. Goes by the name Initiate. Might actually be a girl. Who cares? Look, this hack on the Thought blog, it was a very elaborate hack. Our site is super safe. I'm not an amateur. That guy, girl, whatever, is skilled. And Initiate mentioned having no sympathy for the Gov. You're gonna trust a random hacker who targeted Thought simply because he said he doesn't like the government? Why would he first threaten us and then work with us? Leave it to me, Jules. I'll persuade Initiate with ease. Imagine the possibilities with our own hacker. Okay, you know what? Have it your way, I'll have mine. Arguing like the good old days. Is your util alias still Jules E. Kerr? Might be more secure than calling each other. Yeah, it is. Let's get going. There goes my chilled Sunday morning. My mind is still spinning around what happened to poor Nina. Watch yourself, okay? What, are you worried about me? Jules, I didn't know you still... Ugh, no. Bye, Harry. Okay. Okay, so Julia Carrington is working on Sunday. Saturday, Sunday, she sure works a lot, but then again, so do we. Yeah, me too. Government assholes trying to set us up. That's a possibility. The right hand might not know what the left hand is doing. Seems to be the natural reaction. They must be setting us up because we didn't do anything for sure. I almost understand it. Almost. Abe also knew Joseph. They know each other. Very well, this could be a new lead. I will request to consider Joseph Langley a target. Yet another person in our database, because we're so convinced we're doing the right thing, huh? We have clearance to proceed. We're going to need to know some basics on who Joseph Langley is. Remember to check old sources. Other than that, focus on hints to Abraham Goldfels. He's the center, the crux of all this. Right, so we're going after Cassandra's boyfriend because he knew Abe. Interesting. I mean, not interesting, it's not... I mean... That's how it goes. You know, once you start stepping on the rules to... What is it? The ends justify the means, basically, right? Sometimes it does, but you gotta be really careful about it. Alright. From Harrison to Initiate. Hey, Wiseass, I know for a fact you're messing around with Nina's PC yesterday. I have no idea who you are and why you suspect us of being involved in the Botan bombings. Were these usual circumstances, I wouldn't care less about a weirdo like you. Why I do care about you now, though, is that Nina is now dead. Dead, you get it? As in fucking killed. Killed by law enforcement. Soon enough, you'll have some serious explaining to do, and it won't be to me if you get what I mean. Lucky you, I'm not writing to continue this ridiculous battle or whatever this is. Now we've all made ourselves comfortable in the same sinking ship. I want to suggest something better than battling each other. You claim to be righteous? Then be righteous. Become a member of thought. You said you're not on the Gov side, so why not be on ours? I wouldn't even say become a member of thought. I'd just say, look, fucking help us out, you know? I thought Mr. O'Donnell left Thought. Now he's actively recruiting for the group. Makes this exit seem unlikely. Well, he just had a reason to recontribute to the cause. Alright, Joseph Langley. Is that all for that one? Headlines. Alleged perpetrator of Botan bombings dead. Investigative success in Botan bombing case. Alleged perpetrator killed in her apartment. That's not true. Explosive devices discovered. Also not true. So... I'm gonna complain a little bit. Is this the case of... like, is this a setup? Or is this like the text where it's... So with a lot of the articles and stuff that we're reading in this, the grammar is not quite right. It's like it was translated from something. At first I thought, well, maybe it's on purpose to unsettle the player. But the more I read, the more I've come to the conclusion that it's just either translation or poor grammar or just rushed or something. Regardless, I think it's not intentional. With this, the question is this like an in-game thing of the government setting her up? Or is this like the Telltale games where it doesn't matter what you do, the results are going to be the same? I don't know, but we'll read. Listen, I don't like the reports either. We need to cover the fact this happened somewhere in public. We cannot frighten people. What does that mean? Sometimes their truth and ours have to divert for the common good. Oh, maybe it is a government setup. Investigative success in Boston bombing case. Alleged perpetrator killed in her apartment. Explosive devices discovered. Delacroix shows relief. Why would you even do that? Killed in her apartment. That's easily, like you can say, no, it isn't. Like, she wasn't killed in her apartment. Why are you making an obvious lie? Okay, perpetrator of the recent attacks across Bonton is dead. Special Forces team stormed the flat of Nina M. yesterday evening after evidence suggested she was the lead suspect in the case. When confronted by the Special Forces, Nina M. drew a firearm and fired at police. Team returned fire, killing the suspect in the process. Upon searching the apartment of the deceased, Special Forces discovered nearly half a dozen additional homemade explosive devices, which Nina had created with easily accessible chemicals, hardware, and military equipment. Investigative forces have indicated the military-grade equipment belonged to Nina M. during her military service, which she was allowed to keep when she was dishonorably discharged in 2011. Whether this might pose a motive for Nina M. to commit the assaults is only speculative at this time. Upon receiving the news, Secretary of Security Catherine Delacroix showed relief. Our endeavor to find this evil individual has finally been crowned with success. I've never had any doubt about the capability of our investigative methods. This concludes a dark chapter in the history of Bonn and all the nation, Delacroix stated. From a political standpoint, that's also bad. You're basically pinning it all on this person when you don't actually know. All you need is another bomber to do it, and now you look like a jackass. But I understand it's probably politically motivated in the first place for them to put that out there. Oh, there's more. Oh, great. Exclusive interview with gym founder Ronson. Our very own Jeffrey Paxton got the exclusive chance to interview gym founder Tyler Ronson after he opened his 100th fitness studio. Tyler Ronson flew all the way to Dewhurst for the grand opening of his newest studio. I'm gonna take some coffee. Hang on a second. Alright. Your startup just opened the 100th gym in the nation. How's that make you feel? Good. Nice. The Projection magazine reported you actually went to the grand opening in person to test out all the equipment. Let me emphasize this, every single piece, by yourself before you give the green light. Is that accurate? Of course. I did that in every gym studio I've opened. Really? You must be kidding me for sure. I do not kid. So, I understand you come from a pretty poor background. Your family had 6 children to feed and your father wasn't able to find work for a large amount of your childhood. How did you overcome these obstacles to become a nationwide respected entrepreneur? My father always told my brothers and me, boys, there is not a problem you cannot solve. Go out to face whatever hinders you and punch it in the face as hard as you can. So I did exactly that. An interesting metaphor. It's not a metaphor. What do you mean by that? I went out to the bank of my parents. They were highly indebted to this bank. I went straight to the manager and punched him in the face as hard as I could. I have to admit I am, well, surprised to say the least. What effect did that have? At first he went down pretty hard, hit his head on the glass table. But when he recovered, he was impressed of my strength and my boldness. He suggested an investment model for a gym chain. I then came up with the name Gym. So what does Gym stand for anyway? I think you never actually told anyone. Will you tell our readers? It stands for Gym. It's all capitals because I thought it would look like it had more energy that way. I have no words. He's clearly a highly strong individual. Heavy rainstorm ravages Bonton and Farview. Strong squalls of low Matilda. What? Matilda? Is that the... Okay. Uproot trees, damage cars and buildings in the Bonton Farview area. 4 people get injured. Firefighters called more than 300 times. On Winston Street in Farview, multiple cars were buried under trees. Forecasts had predicted bad weather for Saturday, but no one had been expecting harrowing results of this magnitude. Trees were uprooted in the Boynton-Farview area, obstructing streets and burying cars underneath them. Luckily, there have been no casualties reported, with only 4 people being injured. In contrast to that, the material damage is expected to reach into the millions. Firefighters in the area were called to more than 300 operations and temporarily had a hard time to respond. Meteorologists have confirmed the storm caused by Low Matilda, that's such a weird name, is among the 10 worst rainstorms in the history of Boynton and Farview since the very beginning of the weather recordings. Alright, well, let's do this one. I don't, okay. Let's try go to previous entry. Is it still the same person? I guess. Let's see. Patient reports of digestive nausea and vomiting accompanied by light fever. Oral examination revealed slight irritation of the pharynx, gastroenteritis. Prescription Gastrax Forte, 250 milligrams with note, take 3 times a day with meals. Were all these there before? Complaint. Patient reports permanent unrest, inability to sleep properly, gets up 5 to 12 times a night, does not feel overly tired. Hypervigilance. Experiences heavy tremor in both hands when trying to write, also sometimes in the legs when walking, especially in the left leg. When asked for the duration of the symptoms to record the anamnesis, the patient stated they began over 3 years ago, but would not elaborate. Asking why she did not visit earlier, the patient vehemently voiced discontent. Similar behavior was observed in reaction to any question regarding the origin of the symptoms or social and occupational circumstances at that time. In addition to the usage of strong language, the patient also hit a cabinet door with her fist. It was hard to get clear, reliable statements. Sounds like she has PTSD. Patient tends to react aggressively when feeling challenged or confronted, rushes to extremes. Symptoms are similar to those of PTSD, but can only be confirmed by dedicated psychoanalysis. What situation this might have caused is unknown. Prior medical records for clarification could not be found. Strongly advised to attend psychotherapy. Additionally, Zamarolin Night, take 1 capsule per day, was prescribed. Also suggested to go find the company of other people, a like-minded group to talk to. Okay. I don't... That must have been from the last day. Alright, well, notable alumni. Let's see. There's Joseph Langley. Right, I forgot we're going after him this time. Well, that was some time ago, wasn't it? I guess. Joseph Langley opened his own law office in the city of Boynton some years after his graduation from Stelligan in 1992. Oh, those are 2 separate things. People is new, but projects... Okay. Why is projects? Why was that highlighted? I don't know. Okay, maybe that was old. What is this one? Harrison's timeline. Okay. Hey, this is different. Posted on April 16th, which is today. Off to a slow start on this chilled Sunday morning. This is gonna be my day. I can fucking feel it. Oh, in case anybody does recognize the woman next to me, let me know. Just kidding, very obviously. Don't be mad at me, Marka. Peter Fletcher, so this is the life when you get good money from the national corrupter. I get it now. Uh-huh. Is that it? I guess? Yes, okay. Law offices of Joseph Langley. Logil. Profile, expertise, or contact. Let's try profile. After my release from prison, I got involved in a violent knife fight and was facing a jail term for parole violation. Joseph submitted a plea for mitigation, which was granted. Now I'll just spend 6 months in a community service, then I'll be a free man again. That's a good testimonial right there. I'll be honest, I would want him to be my lawyer. That's not ironically. If he can get this guy that kind of thing, he's, yeah. Meet Mr. Joseph Langley, your reliable partner in law. Joseph Langley studied criminal law at Selgin University in Bonton. Instantly after his graduation in 1992, Joseph Langley partnered with, Catherine Delacroix, fellow student who is now officiating as Secretary of Security in the government, found a criminal law office of their own, Delacroix and Langley Legal. Interesting. Wow, I didn't even know she had a law career going before she actively joined politics. Mr. Langley definitely has been around. So far, so good on Mr. Langley's background. Excluding the connection to Delacroix, everything seems unsurprising. What we need to know right now are his connections to Abraham Goldfells and possibly the other members of Thought. Well, you already know one. The Cassandra Watergate, right? The girlfriend? When Miss Delacroix realized her ambition for politics in 1997, she and Mr. Langley decided to part ways. Joseph Langley kept his office, which was renamed to Law Offices of Joseph Langley. Since then, Joseph Langley has taken the side of the defense in the courtroom innumerable times. His record includes everyday cases as well as high-profile, media-fueled trials. Why is this? Oh, well, okay, whatever. It says already submitted. I guess. Oh, hey, military service. 1983, though. That's, I doubt that means he has any combat experience. That isn't... I mean, there's lawyers in the army. Presumably in this army as well. Profile. Did I miss something on this one? Oh, right, the others. Expertise. My wife made a complaint about me being abusive, and I got charged with assault and battery for it. I turned to Joseph Langley, who successfully impeached her credibility. The scales of justice tipped in my favor thanks to this man. Okay. I mean... I don't know. Maybe it's legit. Maybe the wife is a liar. I don't know. Or maybe not. We have experience you can rely on. Joseph Langley knows how to handle cases of various complexity. In his many years as justice advocate, he has gained invaluable skills in a widespread area of the law. He engages in cases of the following areas: assault, violent crimes, domestic violence, drug possession, gun possession, driving under the influence, corruption. Whoa, really? Those are different. Contract violations, forgery and fraud, identity theft, copyright infringements, parole and probation violations. Joseph Langley's track record includes the lion's share scandal, which received nationwide media coverage in 2010. In that case, he defended construction entrepreneur Elwood Hendricks, who had taken on a governmental contract for highway construction. When it became apparent his road pavement was of inferior quality than paid for, Hendricks' firm became subject to corruption investigations. Joseph Langley took on the defense for Hendricks, during which he was able to convincingly argue that Hendricks had actually acted on behalf of the Secretary of Transportation Greenway, who had taken the largest part of the money put aside in the fraudulent process. The case ended with minor sentence for Hendricks, whereas Greenway had to step down and was sentenced to imprisonment. Is this bad? Well, I guess, you know, if there's the inner circle and this guy's messing with the inner circle, then he's a threat. And by the inner circle, I mean the people that control Orwell. So, yeah, I remember perfectly well. No way anybody missed the case at that time. That was either courageous or dumb. Seemingly it turned out to be the former for some time. Now it might be the latter. See? They're gonna... You know, he attacked the inner circle, so... Well... No good deed goes unpunished. Did I miss one? Oh, contact. My son was charged for reportedly having dealt drugs at his school. Joseph Langley was able to convince the jury this was all a big misunderstanding. Jeffrey is now a carefree boy again. Mr. Langley truly is a tower of strength when it comes to criminal law. Are you facing criminal charges? Don't hesitate to contact us. Never bet or rely on your luck when it comes to criminal charges. Bet on us. If you require assistance, consultation, or simply have a question, don't hesitate a second to call a random number or send an email to Joseph Langley. Please contact in advance to schedule an appointment. Thank you. Alright, so it looks like all of the websites are done. I think I'm actually going to stop here for today. My voice is kind of hurting a little bit. So we'll actually resume this later. Orwell remember. So I'll show you guys the little ad. It's not bad. I mean, it's just a splash screen, basically. See, there you go. It's not bad. It's just continue your story on Steam, and you can tell it, hey, no, don't show me this. And it looks like there's other stuff. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for your attention. Sorry this episode's a little bit shorter than normal. My throat kind of hurts. I don't know if it's probably just allergies or something, but regardless, that's it for today. So what's your guys' positive, unique moment for today? Mine is actually today. Today is, well, quite possibly one of my only days off this month, so I'm gonna enjoy it. It's yeah, we got people out and we got a lot of work. We're super busy, so you know, it happens. But that's it. Hopefully your guys' unique positive moment is just as good or better. Actually, I hope your guys is better. But that's all. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, guys, take care.